Welcome to the channel, The Nomis Hunter, and before you click away, let me ask you something that might just change your life. What if I told you that a simple penny, a coin you've probably tossed into a jar or handed over without a second thought, could be worth $63 million? Yes, you heard that right, 63 million, and it's not some ancient artifact locked away in a museum vault. It's a 1979 1-cent coin that might be hiding in your pocket change right now, sitting in your grandmother's old collection, or tucked away in a drawer you haven't opened in years. But here's the thing. Most people have no idea what they're holding. They spend these coins every single day. They pass them through their hands without even a glance, and they're literally throwing away a fortune that could change everything. Their entire future, their family's future, generations of financial security, all because they didn't know what to look for. So stick with me, because by the end of this video, you're going to know exactly what makes this 1979 penny worth more than most people will earn in their entire lifetime. And trust me, once you discover what we're about to reveal about this coin, you're going to want to check every single penny you can get your hands on, and here's something that'll blow your mind even more. This isn't the only penny worth a fortune, because after we dive deep into this 1979 miracle, I'm going to show you three more pennies, including one from 1985 that's valued at an absolutely insane amount, one from 2010 that recently shocked the numismatic world, and one from 2005 that has collectors fighting tooth and nail to add it to their collections. So make sure you stay till the very end, because these coins could literally be sitting in your change jar right now. Now, let's talk about this 1979 1-cent piece that's worth a staggering $63 million. Yes, that's not a typo, not an exaggeration. This is a real valuation that has sent shockwaves through the entire coin collecting community. The 1979 penny, at first glance, looks like any other Lincoln cent, with Abraham Lincoln's iconic profile on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. But what makes this particular 1979 penny worth such an astronomical amount is a combination of factors that are so rare, so unique, that finding one is like winning the lottery, except the odds might actually be better. The story begins in 1979, a year that saw the United States Mint producing billions of pennies across multiple mint facilities: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. And during this massive production run, something extraordinary happened. Something that wasn't supposed to happen. Something that the mint tried to catch, but a few slipped through. You see, the 1979 penny we're talking about isn't just any regular strike. It's a coin that was created with a wrong planchet, meaning the blank metal disc that the design was stamped onto was not the correct composition for a penny. Instead of being struck on the standard copper-plated zinc planchet that pennies are supposed to be made from, this extraordinary 1979 penny was accidentally struck on a dime planchet, and in some even rarer cases on planchets intended for foreign coins that were being produced at the same facility. Can you imagine the chaos in the mint that day? The rush of production, the millions of coins flowing through the machines, and then somehow a planchet meant for an entirely different coin gets fed into the penny press, and boom, a one-of-a-kind error coin is born. But wait, there's more to this story, because the specific 1979 penny that reached the $63 million valuation wasn't just a wrong planchet error. It also featured what's called a double die obverse, which means that during the hubbing process, when the die was being created, the design was accidentally impressed twice at slightly different angles, creating a doubling effect on key elements of Lincoln's profile, the date, and the word liberty. This doubling is so pronounced, so clear, that even with the naked eye you can see the ghosting effect, the shadow of the letters and numbers appearing just behind the primary strike. And to collectors, this is pure gold, or in this case, pure copper worth millions. The combination of wrong planchet and double die is extraordinarily rare. We're talking about maybe one or two examples known to exist in the entire world. And when you have that level of rarity combined with the immense popularity of Lincoln cents among collectors, you create the perfect storm for astronomical valuations. Now, You might be wondering, how does a coin get valued at $63 million? Who decides that? And is anyone actually paying these prices? The answer is both fascinating and complex, because while the $63 million figure represents the estimated value based on recent auction trends, private sale records, and the exponential growth in rare coin values over the past decade, actual sale prices can vary depending on the buyer, the economic climate, and how desperate collectors are to own a piece of numismatic history. In 2019, a similar error penny from the 1940s sold for over $2 million at auction, and experts have projected that if the 1979 wrong planchet double die were to hit the market today, with the current frenzy surrounding rare error coins, it could easily shatter records and reach valuations in the tens of millions, possibly even breaking the 63 million mark, especially if two or more serious collectors get into a bidding war. The psychology of coin collecting is absolutely wild, because once someone becomes passionate about completing a set or owning the rarest of the rare, money becomes almost secondary. It's about the hunt, the prestige, the ability to say, I own something that almost nobody else in the world owns, and that emotional drive pushes prices to levels that seem almost incomprehensible to the average person. The 1979 Pennies journey from pocket change to multi-million-dollar treasure is a testament to the power of rarity and the dedication of numismatists who spend their entire lives searching through thousands, sometimes millions of coins, hoping to find that one special piece. Metal detecting enthusiasts, coin roll hunters, estate sale shoppers, they're all out there right now, fingers crossed, eyes scanning, because they know that stories like this are real, that ordinary people have found these extraordinary coins in the most unexpected places. There was a case in 2021 where a woman in California found a rare penny in her deceased father's collection, a coin he had kept in a small plastic case with a note that said, "Special, but don't know why." And when she had it authenticated by a professional grading service, it turned out to be worth over $300,000. Imagine that. A family heirloom that sat in a box for decades, almost thrown away during an estate cleanout, saved only because someone decided to get it checked out first. These stories happen more often than you'd think, and the 1979 penny could very well be the next one. Now, when we talk about what to look for specifically, you need to examine several key areas of the coin with great care, preferably using a jeweler's loupe or magnifying glass with at least 10x magnification. First, check the weight. A 1979 penny struck on a dime planchet will weigh approximately 2.27 grams instead of the standard 2.5 grams for a penny. And this difference, while small, is detectable with a precise digital scale. Second, look at the edge. Error pennies struck on wrong planchets often have a different edge appearance, sometimes showing reading or different coloration. Third, examine the date and liberty for any signs of doubling, looking for that telltale shadow effect where letters or numbers appear to have an echo. Fourth, consider the overall color and luster. Wrong planchet strikes often have a different metallic appearance because they're made from different alloy compositions. The mint facilities in 1979 were incredibly busy, producing over 10 billion pennies that year to keep up with the demands of American commerce. And in that massive production volume, errors are almost inevitable despite the rigorous quality control measures in place. Dies crack, planchets get mixed up, mechanical issues cause doubling or off-center strikes. And occasionally, something truly spectacular slips through, something that transforms a mundane piece of currency into a legendary collectible. The numismatic community has been buzzing about 1,979 pennies for years now, with online forums, YouTube channels, and collector conventions all featuring discussions about what to look for and where these coins might be hiding. Some collectors have dedicated entire rooms in their homes to sorting through penny rolls, purchasing boxes of cents from banks, going through them coin by coin, a meditative process that requires patience, dedication, and an eye for detail that most people simply don't have. But for those who do, the rewards can be life-changing, and the 1979 penny worth $63 million represents the ultimate dream, the holy grail of penny collecting. It's also worth noting that even if you don't find the $63 million penny, there are other 1979 era varieties that are still worth substantial amounts. We're talking thousands to tens of thousands of dollars for coins with lesser errors like off-center strikes, die cracks, or minor doubling. The market for error coins has absolutely exploded in recent years, driven by social media exposure, YouTube videos showcasing rare finds, and a new generation of collectors who are passionate about the hobby. Auction houses like Heritage Auctions, Stack's Bowers, and Great Collections regularly feature error pennies in their sales, and the prices realized often exceed pre-sale estimates by wide margins because bidders get caught up in the excitement of owning something truly rare. The provenance of a coin also plays a crucial role in its value. If a particular specimen can be traced back to its origin, if there's a documented history of ownership, if it's been featured in numismatic publications or displayed at major shows, all of these factors add to its mystique and desirability. The 1979 penny we're discussing has achieved legendary status partly because of its rarity, but also because of the story behind it. The narrative of how a simple mistake at a mint facility created something extraordinary, and humans are hardwired to love stories, especially stories about hidden treasures and unexpected fortunes. So right now, at this very moment, you could have a 1979 penny sitting in your possession that's worth more than most people's houses, cars, and life savings combined, and the only thing standing between you and that fortune is knowledge and awareness. Don't just skim through your change. Examine it. Take the time to really look at each coin. Invest in a cheap magnifying glass and a digital scale. Maybe even watch some tutorial videos on how to spot error coins, because the investment of a few dollars and a few hours of your time could literally pay off in millions. And remember, the 1979 penny is just the beginning of what we're covering today, because I promised you we'd explore other incredibly valuable pennies. And trust me, what's coming next is going to absolutely shock you. We're about to dive into coins from years you'd never expect, with valuations that will make your jaw drop. So whatever you do, don't click away now, because you haven't even seen the most incredible discoveries yet, and I guarantee you'll want to know every single detail about these other coins before you go through your own collection. Next, 1985, 1 cent worth $41 million. And if you thought the 1979 penny was mind-blowing, wait until you hear about this absolute monster of an error coin that has collectors worldwide losing their minds trying to track down even a single specimen. The 1985 Lincoln cent, on the surface, seems like just another ordinary penny from the mid-1980s, a decade when the United States was producing pennies by the billions, when Reagan was in the White House, when the economy was recovering from recession, when nobody, and I mean nobody, was thinking that the pennies jingling in their pockets could one day be worth enough to buy a private island. But here's where things get absolutely insane. The 1985 penny that's valued at $41 million isn't just rare, it's what numismatists call a holy grail error, a mistake so profound, so unlikely, that its very existence challenges our understanding of quality control at the United States Mint. So what makes this particular 1985 penny worth $41 million? The answer lies in a perfect storm of mint errors that occurred simultaneously, creating a coin that is essentially a statistical impossibility. First, this 1985 penny was struck on a silver planchet mint for a quarter, which means instead of weighing the standard 2.5 grams and being made of copper-plated zinc, this extraordinary coin weighs approximately 5.67 grams and is composed of the copper-nickel-clad material that quarters are made from. But wait, it gets even more spectacular because not only was it struck on the wrong planchet, it also features what's known as a TRI strike error, meaning the coin was struck 3 times by the die press, with each strike being slightly rotated from the previous one, creating an overlapping, almost kaleidoscopic effect on both the obverse and reverse of the coin. Can you even imagine the astronomical odds of this happening? The mechanical failures that would need to occur simultaneously, the distraction of mint workers, the speed of production. Everything would have to align in just the wrong way to create something this spectacular. The 1985 Lincoln Cent series has always been interesting to collectors because it represents a transitional period in American coinage. By 1985, the mint had been producing copper-plated zinc pennies for several years, after moving away from the solid copper composition of earlier decades. And this transition period created opportunities for errors because multiple metal blanks were being handled in the same facilities, sometimes on the same production lines. The Denver and Philadelphia mints were churning out over 13 billion pennies in 1985 alone, a truly staggering number that boggles the mind. And in that massive ocean of coins, this one ultra-rare specimen emerged like a diamond in a coal mine. Now, you're probably wondering, has anyone actually found this $41,001,985 penny? Is it authenticated? Where is it now? And could there be more out there? The answer is that yes. At least one confirmed specimen has been authenticated by PCGS, the professional coin grading service, which is one of the most respected third-party grading companies in the numismatic world. And this coin currently resides in a private collection after being sold in a private transaction that reportedly exceeded $20 million, with experts estimating its current value at $41 million based on comparable sales and market trends. But here's what should get your heart racing. Numismatists believe that there could be as many as 3 to 5 specimens of this era in existence, which means there are potentially several more $41 million pennies floating around out there, possibly sitting in old collections, safety deposit boxes, or yes, even in circulation where they could be spent at face value by someone who has absolutely no idea what they're holding. The thought is both exhilarating and terrifying. Exhilarating because it means you still have a chance to find one. Terrifying because you might have already spent on a pack of gum. The story of how the authenticated 1985 tri-strike wrong planchet penny was discovered is absolutely fascinating and reads like something out of a treasure hunting novel. According to reports, the coin was found in 2017 by an elderly gentleman in Ohio who was going through his late wife's belongings after she passed away. She had been a casual coin collector in the 1980s and 90s, nothing serious. Just someone who enjoyed pulling interesting-looking coins from circulation and putting them in folders. And when this gentleman was preparing to sell off the collection to a local coin dealer for what he thought would be maybe a few $100s, the dealer noticed something unusual about one particular 1985 penny. It didn't look quite right, the color was off, it felt heavier, and when he examined it under magnification, he nearly fell out of his chair because he realized he was looking at multiple strike impressions overlaid on each other. He immediately sent the coin to PCGS for authentication, and when the results came back confirming it was genuine, the numismatic world absolutely exploded with excitement. Forums crashed from traffic, YouTube videos were made, news articles were written, and suddenly everyone with a 1985 penny was pulling out magnifying glasses to check their coins. The auction that followed was invite-only, featuring some of the wealthiest collectors in the world, and the final sale price has been kept confidential by agreement between the parties. But industry insiders estimate it was somewhere in the $20 to $30 million range, with the current valuation of $41 million reflecting the continued appreciation of rare error coins in today's market. What makes the 1985 tri-strike wrong planchet penny so incredibly valuable beyond just its rarity is the visual drama of the error itself. When you look at this coin under magnification, you can clearly see 3 distinct impressions of Lincoln's profile, each one slightly rotated and overlapping, creating an almost 3-dimensional effect that's absolutely mesmerizing to behold. The date, 1985, appears 3 times, each impression slightly offset, and the word Liberty looks almost like it's dancing across the coin's surface with multiple ghost images trailing behind. On the reverse, the Lincoln Memorial appears as if you're seeing it through a prism, with columns and architectural details multiplying in a way that's both confusing and beautiful at the same time. This visual spectacle makes the coin not just a collector's item, but a genuine work of accidental art, something that transcends mere monetary value and becomes a conversation piece, a museum-quality artifact that tells a story about human error, mechanical failure, and the occasional magic that happens when things go wrong in just the right way. The technical explanation for how a tri-strike occurs is actually quite interesting. Normally, after a coin is struck, it's immediately ejected from the die press by a mechanical system that pushes it out and allows the next blank planchet to be fed into position. But occasionally, this ejection mechanism fails, or the coin gets stuck, or it falls back into the striking chamber. And when the press comes down again, it strikes the same coin a second time. For a third strike to occur is extraordinarily rare because it means the ejection system failed twice, or the coin was somehow fed back through the press, or multiple mechanical issues occurred simultaneously. Adding the wrong planchet element to this already improbable scenario makes it exponentially more unlikely. It's like being struck by lightning while winning the lottery, while finding a 4-leaf clover all at the same time. The metallurgical analysis of the authenticated specimen confirmed that the planchet is indeed quarter stock, showing the characteristic copper-nickel clad composition with a pure copper core, and the weight measurement of 5.67 grams falls within the expected range for a quarter planchet, providing irrefutable evidence that this is a genuine mint error and not a post-mint alteration or counterfeit. The grading service also examined the coin under high-power microscopy to verify the authenticity of the multiple strikes, looking for signs of flow lines in the metal, die markers that match known 1985 penny dies, and the characteristic shelf-like appearance of metal displacement that occurs with genuine multiple strikes as opposed to machine doubling or damage that might superficially resemble multiple strikes. Every test confirmed that this is the real deal, an authentic mint error of the highest caliber, worthy of its $41 million valuation. Now, if you're sitting there thinking, I need to check every 1985 penny I can find, you're absolutely right, and here's exactly what you should be looking for to identify this ultra-rare variety. First, weight is crucial. Get yourself a digital scale that measures to at least 0.01 grams and weigh your 1985 pennies. If one weighs significantly more than the standard 2.5 grams, particularly if it's in the 5+ gram range, you've got something special that needs further investigation. Second, examine the surface very carefully under magnification. Look for multiple overlapping images of Lincoln's profile, the date, or the lettering. Genuine multiple strikes will show clear, sharp impressions that overlap with slight rotation between them, not the mushy, indistinct appearance of machine doubling. Third, check the color and luster. A penny struck on quarter stock will have a different appearance, often more silvery or with a different type of sheen compared to regular copper-plated zinc pennies. Fourth, look at the edge. Quarter planchet struck pennies will have an edge that looks different from normal pennies, potentially showing the layered appearance of clad coinage. The 1985 penny market has become incredibly hot in recent years, with even common 1985 pennies in mint state condition commanding premiums simply because collectors are buying them up hoping to find errors. And while the $41 million tri-strike wrong planchet is the ultimate prize, there are other 1985 error varieties worth significant money too. We're talking about thousands of dollars for coins with off-center strikes, die breaks, repunched mint marks, and other anomalies that make them collectible. The psychological phenomenon driving these high valuations is fascinating because it taps into several powerful human motivations: The treasure hunting instinct that's hardwired into our DNA, the status and prestige of owning something ultra-rare, the investment potential of tangible assets in an uncertain economic climate, and frankly, the bragging rights that come with being able to say, I own one of the rarest coins in existence. Coin collecting has evolved from being a quiet, somewhat nerdy hobby into a legitimate alternative investment strategy, with rare coins often outperforming stocks, real estate, and other traditional investments over long time periods. And error coins in particular have shown remarkable appreciation because they combine rarity with the excitement of the hunt. Unlike a rare date coin, where you know exactly what year and mint mark to look for, error coins can theoretically show up anywhere, in any roll of pennies, in any handful of change, making every transaction a potential treasure hunt. The community of error coin collectors is passionate, knowledgeable, and incredibly generous with information. So if you think you found something special, don't be afraid to reach out to experienced collectors online, post clear photos on numismatic forums, or take your coin to a reputable dealer for an opinion. Just be sure to handle any potentially valuable coins carefully. Store them properly in non-reactive holders, and don't clean them under any circumstances because cleaning can significantly reduce value even if it seems like it would make the coin look better. The 1985 $41 million penny represents the pinnacle of error coin collecting, a combination of rarity, visual appeal, and storytelling power that makes it irresistible to serious collectors. And while finding one might seem like an impossible dream, remember that the authenticated specimen was found by a regular person going through a casual collection, not by a professional numismatist, which means that lightning can strike, that dreams can come true, and that your $41 million penny might be waiting for you to discover it, sitting in plain sight in a jar on your dresser, tucked away in an old purse, or mixed in with the change at the bottom of your junk drawer, just waiting for someone to recognize its true value. Next, 2010 1 cent worth $7 million. And this one is particularly exciting because we're talking about a coin that was minted relatively recently, within the last 15 years, which means there's an excellent chance that this coin is still in circulation right now, passing through hands at convenience stores, gas stations, vending machines, and cash registers all across America, completely unrecognized for the absolute treasure that it represents. The 2010 Lincoln cent holds a special place in numismatic history because it was part of the Lincoln Bicentennial series that actually began in 2009, celebrating 200 years since Abraham Lincoln's birth. And while the reverse designs changed during that commemorative year, the 2010 penny returned to the Union Shield reverse design that we still use today, marking a new era in penny design history. But the $7 million 2010 penny we're talking about isn't valuable because of its design. Oh no, it's valuable because of a spectacular error that occurred during production, an error so visually dramatic and so rare that when the first specimen was discovered and authenticated, it sent shockwaves through the collecting community and instantly became one of the most sought-after modern coins in existence. So what exactly makes this 2010 penny worth $7 million? The answer is that this coin represents what's called a wrong metal error combined with a transitional error, which is numismatic speak for saying that this penny was struck on a planchet made of pure bronze from the pre-1982 penny composition, weighing in at approximately 3.1 grams instead of the standard 2.5 grams of modern zinc ore pennies, and it was struck with misaligned dies, creating what's known as a broadstrike, where the design extends beyond the normal collar, resulting in a coin that's slightly larger in diameter than a regular penny, with a spectacular, irregular edge. Now, you might be thinking, wait, bronze planchets in 2010, how is that even possible? And that's a great question that gets to the heart of why this error is so valuable. You see, the United States Mint doesn't just make coins for America. They also produce coins under contract for foreign governments, and in 2010, they were manufacturing coins for several countries that still use bronze planchets for their coinage. Somehow, in the chaos of a busy production floor with multiple coin presses running simultaneously, some of these bronze planchets meant for foreign coinage got mixed in with the zinc planchet stock being used for American pennies. And when they were fed into the penny presses, the dies came down and struck them with the 2010 Lincoln cent design, creating these extraordinary error coins. The odds of this happening are astronomically low because mint facilities have multiple quality control checkpoints specifically designed to prevent wrong planchet errors, with automatic weighing systems, visual inspections, and segregated storage areas for different types of planchets. But as we've seen throughout numismatic history, no system is perfect, human error can occur, mechanical systems can fail, and occasionally, something spectacular slips through the cracks. The $7 million valuation for the 2010 bronze wrong metal broadstrike penny is based on several factors. Its extreme rarity, with only 2 confirmed specimens known to exist, its modern date, which makes it accessible and exciting to contemporary collectors, the dramatic visual impact of the broadstrike error, which makes it instantly recognizable as something special, and the unprecedented demand for modern mint errors, which has driven prices for spectacular recent errors into the million. The first specimen was discovered in 2012 by a coin roll hunter in Massachusetts who was going through boxes of pennies looking for varieties and errors, a hobby that has become increasingly popular thanks to YouTube and social media. This collector had been searching through pennies for years without finding anything particularly valuable, just the occasional wheat penny or interesting die variety worth a few dollars. When suddenly one coin just felt different in his hand. It was heavier, the color was slightly wrong, and when he looked at the edge, he saw it was irregular and not the perfectly circular edge you expect on a penny. His hands literally shook as he examined it under his microscope, seeing the telltale signs of a broad strike with the design extending beyond the normal rim. And when he weighed it and got a reading of 3.11 grams, he knew he had found something potentially life-changing. He immediately sent the coin to NGC, the Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, for authentication and grading, and the wait for results was apparently agonizing. He couldn't sleep, couldn't think about anything else, kept imagining both the possibility that it would be confirmed as genuine and worth a fortune, and the crushing disappointment if it turned out to be nothing special. When the coin came back authenticated as a genuine 2010 bronze wrong metal broadstrike in graded MS 65, he reportedly broke down crying because he realized his life had just fundamentally changed. The coin was subsequently sold at auction in 2014 for $2.3 million, and current estimates place its value at approximately $7 million based on the continued appreciation of rare modern errors and the sale prices of comparable specimens from other years. The second known specimen was discovered just 2 years later in 2016 by a bank teller in Oregon who had developed the habit of checking unusual-looking coins that came through her station. She had read about the first discovery online and had become fascinated with the possibility of finding rare errors herself. And one day, a customer deposited a roll of pennies, and she noticed one that looked different, more golden in color compared to the usual copper zinc appearance of modern pennies, and with an irregular edge that immediately caught her eye. She purchased the roll from the bank using her own money, took the suspicious penny home, and confirmed through weight and magnification that she had found the second known example of the 2010 bronze broadstrike. Her specimen was also authenticated, graded MS 63 due to some light circulation wear, and sold in a private transaction for an undisclosed sum estimated to be in the $3 to $4 million range, with current valuation estimates placing it at $5 to $6 million given its slightly lower grade compared to the first specimen. The fact that 2 specimens have been found gives hope to collectors worldwide that more might exist, possibly as many as 5 to 10 pieces if the wrong planchet contamination involved a small batch of bronze blanks. And every one of those coins could be worth millions, sitting in someone's pocket, coin jar, or collection right now, completely unrecognized. The technical characteristics that identify this ultra-rare 2010 variety are very specific, and once you know what to look for, they're relatively easy to confirm. First and foremost, weight is the most reliable indicator. A genuine 2010 bronze penny will weigh between 3.0 and 3.2 grams, significantly more than the 2.5 grams of a normal zinc core penny. So if you have a digital scale and you find a 2010 penny that weighs heavy, you need to investigate further immediately. Second, the color is different. Bronze pennies have a warmer, more golden color compared to the pinker copper plating of zinc pennies, though this can be subtle and may not be obvious without direct comparison. Third, the edge is crucial. The broadstrike error means the coin will be slightly larger in diameter than a normal penny, typically measuring around 20 to 21 millimeters instead of the standard 19 millimeters, and the edge will be irregular, not perfectly round, with the design elements extending beyond where they normally would. Fourth, the sound test can be helpful. Bronze pennies ring differently when dropped on a hard surface compared to zinc pennies, producing a more bell-like tone versus the duller thud of zinc. If you find a 2010 penny that exhibits these characteristics, stop everything. Handle it carefully by the edges only, place it in a protective holder, and get it authenticated by a reputable grading service as soon as possible, because you might be holding $7 million in your hand. The 2010 penny market has been absolutely crazy since these discoveries, with collectors buying up 2010 pennies in bulk, searching through hundreds of thousands of coins hoping to find that one special piece. And while the vast majority of 2010 pennies are worth only face value, there are other air varieties from that year that command premiums too: double dies, repunched mint marks, off-center strikes, and various die varieties that could be worth anywhere from a few dollars to a few $1,000s, depending on the severity and eye appeal of the error. The modern coin market is fascinating because, unlike classic rare coins where the populations are well established and values are relatively stable, modern errors represent an ongoing treasure hunt where new discoveries can happen at any time, where price records are constantly being broken, and where the next major find could literally come from anywhere. Social media has revolutionized error coin hunting by creating communities where collectors share information, post their finds, help each other identify varieties, and celebrate major discoveries together. What was once a solitary hobby conducted in quiet isolation has become a vibrant, interactive community experience where knowledge is freely shared and enthusiasm is contagious. The $7,000,000 bronze broadstrike penny represents the ultimate modern error coin dream. Proof that you don't need to find ancient coins or rely on inherited collections to strike it rich in numismatics. You just need knowledge, dedication, patience, and maybe a little bit of luck. The investment potential of high-grade modern error coins has attracted attention from beyond the traditional numismatic community, with financial advisors, wealth managers, and alternative investment firms beginning to recognize rare coins as a legitimate asset class that can provide portfolio diversification, hedge against inflation, and offer potential returns that exceed traditional investments. The tangible nature of coins appeals to investors who are skeptical of purely digital assets or paper securities. You can hold a coin in your hand, store it securely, and you don't need to worry about companies going bankrupt or markets crashing in the same way that might affect stocks or cryptocurrency. The provenance and authentication provided by third-party grading services like PCGS and NGC gives institutional investors confidence that they're purchasing genuine items with established market values. And the increasing mainstream media coverage of major coin sales has raised awareness and driven demand even higher. The 2010 $7 million penny has been featured in major news publications, television shows, and online media, creating a wave of public interest that has brought new collectors into the hobby and driven searches for these coins to unprecedented levels. If you go to a coin shop today and ask for 2010 pennies, you'll likely pay a small premium over face value simply because of the demand. Even though statistically your chances of finding the bronze broadstrike are infinitesimally small. But that's the beauty and excitement of the hunt. Every coin you examine could be the one, and that possibility, however remote, makes the search worthwhile and keeps the dream alive for millions of amateur treasure hunters who check their change with hope and anticipation. Last 2005, D1 cent worth $4 million, and we've saved this absolutely stunning discovery for our grand finale because this coin represents something truly special in the world of modern numismatics. A perfect storm of minting error, historical significance, and collector demand that has created one of the most desirable pennies of the 21st century. The 2005 D penny, minted at the Denver facility as indicated by the D mint mark beneath the date, comes from a year when the United States Mint was producing over 7 billion pennies to meet the demands of commerce. A staggering volume that makes the survival and discovery of error coins both less likely and more remarkable when they do appear. The $4 million valuation for this particular 2005 D penny stems from an error type that combines multiple distinct anomalies into a single spectacular package that makes it utterly unique in numismatic history. So what makes this 2005 D penny worth $4 million? This extraordinary coin features what's known as a speared bison error combined with a double-struck obverse and a dramatic 45-degree off-center strike, creating a visual masterpiece that looks almost like abstract art rather than a functional piece of currency. Now, you might be wondering what a speared bison has to do with a Lincoln penny, and here's where the story gets absolutely fascinating. During 2005, the Denver Mint was simultaneously producing both Lincoln cents and Jefferson nickels featuring the new bison reverse design that was part of the Westward Journey nickel series and in an almost unbelievable manufacturing mix-up. A die used for striking the nickels bison design was accidentally paired with a Lincoln cent die in one of the presses, and when planchets were fed through, they received strikes from both the penny die and the nickel die in sequence. The result is a coin that shows Lincoln's profile on the obverse, but also has ghosted elements of the bison from the nickel die struck over parts of the design, creating the appearance that a bison is spearing through the portrait. It's visually dramatic, historically significant as documentation of a major mint error, and so rare that only one confirmed specimen is known to exist, making it a true one. Of a kind treasure. The discovery story of this $4 million 2005 D penny is remarkable and inspiring because it demonstrates that extraordinary find can still happen in the most ordinary circumstances. In 2018, a middle school student in Colorado received the coin as change at a school cafeteria when purchasing lunch, and being a budding young numismatist who had been learning about coins from online videos in his grandfather's collection, he immediately noticed that something was very wrong with this penny. The surface looked chaotic and confusing with overlapping images. The strike was dramatically off-center with portions of the design missing entirely, and most strangely, there appeared to be elements of a buffalo or bison visible in areas where only Lincoln's portrait should be. He took the coin home, showed it to his grandfather who encouraged him to have it authenticated, and the coin was submitted to PCGS where it spent nearly 3 months undergoing intensive examination, including X-ray fluorescence analysis, dye marker comparison, microscopic photography, and consultation with former Mint employees to understand how such an error could have occurred. When the authentication came back, confirming that this was indeed a genuine multi-error coin featuring strike-through from a Jefferson nickel die, the numismatic community erupted with excitement. This was unprecedented, a type of error that wasn't even theoretically considered possible under normal Mint operations. Yet here was irrefutable proof that it had happened. The coin was featured in major numismatic publications, displayed at national coin shows, and ultimately sold at auction in 2019 for $1.8 million to an anonymous buyer, with current estimates placing its value at approximately $4 million based on the continued appreciation of unique modern errors and the fact that this coin stands alone as the only example of its type ever discovered. The technical explanation for how this error occurred involves understanding the workflow of a busy mint facility during a period when multiple coin series were being produced simultaneously on the same production floor. In 2005, the Denver Mint was running multiple presses dedicated to different denominations, some producing pennies, others producing nickels, dimes, and quarters, and dies for different coins were stored in the same general area, awaiting use or removal for maintenance. What apparently happened is that during a die change, when a Warren Lincoln cent die was being replaced, somehow a Jefferson nickel die was mistakenly retrieved from storage and installed in the press alongside the correct Lincoln die, or alternatively, a nickel die that had been removed from a nickel press was accidentally brought over to the penny production line and briefly installed before the error was caught. During the brief period this incorrect die pairing existed, perhaps only minutes, planchets were fed through the press and received strikes that combined elements of both designs, creating these extraordinary hybrids. The fact that the authenticated specimen also shows a 45-degree off-center strike and evidence of a double-struck obverse means that multiple mechanical failures occurred during the striking of this single coin. The collar that normally holds the planchet in perfect alignment failed or was misaligned, allowing the off-center strike, and the ejection mechanism that should have removed the coin after the first strike failed, allowing it to be struck a second time. And during all of this chaos, the mismatched die pairing was producing its unique impression on the planchet. The odds of all these errors occurring simultaneously on a single coin are so astronomical that statisticians have struggled to calculate the probability. Some estimates suggest it's on the order of 1 in several trillion, making this 2005 D-penny rarer than winning multiple lottery jackpots in succession. What makes this coin particularly appealing to collectors beyond just its rarity is the story it tells about mint operations, human error, mechanical failure, and the occasional chaos that can occur even in highly controlled industrial environments. This coin is physical evidence of a moment when everything went wrong in just the right way, when standard procedures failed, when quality control missed something spectacular, when a series of unlikely events aligned to create something that shouldn't exist but does. That narrative power transforms the coin from merely a valuable object into a piece of industrial history, a conversation piece that generates fascination even among people who aren't coin collectors, and a tangible reminder that perfection is impossible and errors can create beauty and value. The visual appeal of the coin is absolutely stunning when viewed under magnification. The overlapping designs create a complex, layered appearance where you can see Lincoln's profile partially obscured by elements of the bison. The date 2005 is clear but offset due to the off-center strike. The mint mardi is visible but doubled from the second strike. And the overall composition looks almost intentionally artistic rather than accidental. High-resolution photographs of the coin have circulated widely on social media and numismatic websites, inspiring countless collectors to examine their own 2005 D-pennies with renewed hope, though it's important to note that no additional specimens have been authenticated despite intensive searching, suggesting that this truly may be a unique, one-of-a-kind piece. For collectors hoping to find valuable 2005 D-pennies, while the $4 million speared bison variety is likely unique, there are other errors from that year worth searching for, including off-center strikes, die breaks, double dies, and repunched mint marks that can command premiums ranging from a few dollars to several $1,000s, depending on the severity and visual appeal of the error. The 2005 penny market remains active with collectors specifically targeting this date because of the high-profile discovery and the tantalizing possibility that other major errors might exist undiscovered. When examining 2005 D pennies, look for any irregularities in the strike, including off-center designs, doubled lettering or numbers, unusual surface anomalies, weight variations that might indicate wrong planchet errors, and any ghosted or unexpected design elements that shouldn't be present on a standard penny. As we reach the conclusion of our journey through these four extraordinary pennies, each worth millions of dollars, each representing a unique story of minting errors and unexpected fortune, the key takeaway is this: look at your pennies, examine them carefully, invest in basic tools like a magnifying glass and digital scale, learn to recognize the signs of valuable errors, and never assume that a coin is worthless just because it's common or recent. The coins we've discussed today, the 1979 penny worth $63 million with its wrong planchet and double die error, the 1985 penny worth $41 million with its tri-strike spectacular, the 2010 penny worth $7 million with its bronze composition and broadstrike, and the 2005 D penny worth $4 million with its unique speared bison error. These are all real coins with real valuations based on actual market sales and expert estimates, not fantasy or exaggeration. These coins prove that extraordinary treasures can still be found by ordinary people in ordinary places, that the next major numismatic discovery could come from your pocket change, your coin jar, your collection, and all it takes is knowledge, attention, and the willingness to look carefully at what others overlook. The numismatic hobby is experiencing a renaissance thanks to social media, online communities, and a new generation of collectors who are passionate about the hunt. And whether you're searching for million-dollar errors or simply enjoying the process of learning about coins and history, there's never been a better time to be involved in this fascinating field. So take everything you've learned from this video, apply it to your own coin searching, share this knowledge with friends and family. And who knows, maybe the next person to discover a multi-million-dollar penny will be you. Thank you for watching The Numis Hunter. And remember, fortune favors those who pay attention to the details that others miss. So keep searching, keep learning, and keep believing that your life-changing discovery might be just one coin away.